We both know why you're here, and that's to talk about the next Fallout.
Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we're counting down our favorite hidden references in Fallout 4.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
The Winter Hill Gang.
Once upon a time, in the land of Boston, there lived a king of organized crime, Eddie Winter. He was a bad man who did a lot of bad things.
If you spend enough time with Nick Valentine, Diamond City's best, and albeit only private eye, he'll eventually confide in you that he has unfinished business from before the war. Though Valentine is a synth, there was once a real Nick Valentine, whose brain was scanned and uploaded into a synthetic body. He wants you to track down the real Nick's last quarry, the notorious mobster Eddie Winter, who he believes managed to turn himself into a ghoul before the Great War.
The name's Valentine. Nick Valentine. Remember me?
Valentine? The cop?
This is all based on Boston's real-life Winter Hill Gang and one of its leaders, Howie Winter. In reality, though, Howie Winter passed away in 2020, and as far as we know, he didn't turn himself into a mutant.
All this time, and the first person to walk through my door is a wise ass. Why couldn't you have been a sexy blonde?
Todd Bonaparte.
Great to see everybody.
Love him or hate him, Todd Howard's influence in the video game industry can't be denied, and his fingerprints are all over Fallout and the Elder Scrolls as Bethesda's longtime director.
Had a lot of difficulties at launch, and we got a lot of well-deserved criticism.
Out in the open world, you'll sometimes come across paintings of Napoleon Bonaparte, specifically the painting Napoleon Crossing the Alps. But look a little closer and you'll see that that isn't Napoleon at all, but Todd Howard. Why they chose Napoleon of all the historical figures isn't clear. Wouldn't a painting of a famous American leader make more sense given the game's Boston setting? Who knows? Nor do we know which member of Bethesda's art department is responsible for this bizarre painting. And yes, you can unlock it as settlement decor.
But the team kept working on it, and you kept playing it.
Kid in a fridge.
The bombs were over 200 years ago. You're that old?
I don't know how long I've been in here.
Can you really survive the apocalypse by hiding in a lead-lined refrigerator? Well, given that this child was exposed to so much radiation that he turned into a ghoul, probably not. Down near Quincy, you'll come across a mysterious voice coming from a fridge, opening it to find Billy, who's been in that fridge since the bombs fell. He asks you to help him find his parents, who, hilariously, also survived the war and became ghouls, reuniting this happy family.
Mom? Dad? Are you in there?
Billy? Billy?
This does raise questions about how the ghouls work, since sometimes they say they just age slowly, while Billy seems to have been frozen in time. But as far as elaborate Indiana Jones references go, this is even better than the one in New Vegas.
Oh my God! We thought you were dead.
NACA Cola.
How do you even drink that?
Because it's delicious.
What?
Though its inclusion in Season 3 of Stranger Things reignited interest in New Coke in 2019, the experimental drink remained a bad memory for anybody who grew up in the 80s when Fallout 4's Nuka World expansion was released.
Welcome to Nuka World, America's favorite vacation destination!
One of the many new and unique flavors of the series' trademark Nuka Cola is this one, NACA Cola, made by mixing a regular Nuka Cola and a Nuka Cherry at a mixing station.
The river's made of quantum, and the mountaintops are fizz.
Interestingly, though many of the Nuka Cola flavors are ones the company successfully introduced, or tried to introduce, even they weren't stupid enough to reformulate their popular soft drink, unlike Coca-Cola in real life. Considering this is the same company that put radioactive isotopes into Nuka Cola Quantum, that's saying something.
We gave America a choice, and more people said, Coke is it.
It's a hit. It's a Coke. Coke is it.
Swan. One of the hardest bosses in the game, you'll find Swan hiding out in the pond in Boston Common. Nothing beats the first moment you approach the old paddle boat, only for it to rise out of the water and reveal a super mutant behemoth. But what's the story behind Swan? Well, originally, he was called Edgar Swan, and he worked for the Institute until eventually being made to submit to one of their experiments. Swan was one of the Institute's FEV test subjects, and though the tests initially went well and made him smarter and stronger, he eventually became a behemoth. This is borrowing heavily from the plot of influential sci-fi short story and novel Flowers for Algernon by David Keyes, in which Charlie Gordon goes through something similar. The free fall legs. There's a lot hiding in the mass fusion building. Not only is it the site of Fallout 4's climax and the location of the strength bobblehead, which can be tricky to collect, but you also find these unique armor pieces. They're intended to only be reached if you're wearing power armor equipped with a jetpack. To craft that mod, make sure you've ranked up the armorer and science skills enough. Once you find them in Jack Rockford's safe, equip both of them at once to no longer take any fall damage. Not only is this a reference to a similar item from Oblivion, but it's also reminiscent of Chell's long fall boots in Portal. Alas, there's no portal gun in Fallout 4, unless breaking space-time by clipping through the map counts. The Cask of Amontillado.
So what happened to this castle if it was so well fortified?
This was long before I joined up, but the story I heard was that some kind of monster came out of the sea and destroyed the fort.
This literary reference is a homage to Edgar Allan Poe, one of America's all-time greatest writers. Specifically, it's to the story The Cask of Amontillado, in which a man is tricked and buried alive in a wall after being lured in by expensive bottles of wine. You'll find a skeleton entombed in a broken wall in the castle in Fallout 4, next to bottles of wine. But we have to look even deeper to see why Bethesda referenced this Poe story here. In real life, Poe was a former soldier who was stationed at Fort Independence, Castle Island, in Massachusetts, which is what the castle is meant to be. Legend has it that a man was once buried alive in its walls. Is this a reference to Poe's story, or is it the man in the original tale?
Wow, we really did it. I've been watching the Minutemen fall to pieces for so long, I just...
Dunwich Borers. There's something very sinister about this in-game company, which first appeared through the Dunwich building, its headquarters in Fallout 3. At Dunwich Borers, a marble quarry, you'll be faced with similar spooky flashbacks to people conducting ancient rituals with mysterious weapons. Venture deep enough into the quarry, and you'll find a flooded tunnel, and at the bottom, a unique dagger called Kremiv's Tooth on an altar. It's all a big reference to H.P. Lovecraft and his short stories, with the name Dunwich coming from the Dunwich Horror, which is set in Massachusetts. However, no giant invisible alien terrorizes the Commonwealth like in the story. There are only regular-sized aliens in Fallout. Perfectly preserved pie. You could have played through Fallout 4 a dozen times and not unlocked this rare consumable, thinking that the vending machines around the world are just a cosmic joke, and there's no actual way for you to get the delicious slice of pie inside. But you'd be wrong. There's actually a highly complex algorithm at play that determines whether the machine will give you the pie or not, determined by your luck stat and how many times you interact with the porta-diner. It can take over 100 attempts to get the pie, and if you're truly unlucky, maybe you'll never get one at all. The final secret.
I read on the internet that our games have had a few bugs.
More from Todd. He's famously gone on record as saying that Fallout 4 still has one big secret that nobody has found. He said that this secret is on a terminal somewhere, with some speculating that the terminal may be in the Institute, or that it might not have even been in the base game until a patch was issued.
And we had a very, very dynamic world with this game.
Maybe the secret is the way to reach the end game with 3 factions alive. Or the fan theory that the sole survivor has been a synth this entire time. Todd's never confirmed if the secret has been found.
And that sometimes it doesn't just work.
Of course, there's also the possibility that Todd was lying to us to keep us playing the game, and that there is no final secret. Maybe we'll never know the truth.
Minute to minute, I think Fallout 4 is a huge success for us for just how a game feels in your hands.
Let us know in the comments which of these Easter eggs you already found.
That's not funny. That's not funny at all. What kind of horrible person would say that to a kid stuck in a refrigerator?
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from MojoPlays, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.